Today we are going to go back in time, into the Cretaceous period, the period when no human has yet set foot on the planet. The planet had almost been destroyed by a giant asteroid. You will find out the destruction of 75% of all species of the planet, and the species that survive, the different climate changes, and you will learn how the Earth recovered from such a disastrous event. 66 million years ago, at the end of the Mesozoic era, our planet went through one of a large-scale extinction. Before this mass extinction, dinosaurs were living the last days of their era. Dinosaurs were roaming on Earth, enjoying their day. It was one of the warm periods of the Earth. The whole planet was lush and exotic. All of a sudden, an asteroid entered the atmosphere of the Earth full of flames. It was 10 kilometers wide, almost the size of Mount Everest, and traveled almost 20 kilometers per second, which is 150 times faster than a commercial jet airplane. It struck the shallow waters of the Yucatan Peninsula, forming what is today called the Chicxulub impact crater. After the impact, almost everything instantly vaporized within a radius of 1,800 kilometers. Moments after the explosion, a sequence of events started, which provoked spectacles of destruction. Earthquakes, tsunamis, forest fires started, making life for every living thing miserable. Big dinosaurs, and every distinct living organism desperately raced for their lives. A sequence of catastrophic events initiated. Soon after, Earth lost almost 75% of living creatures, including the mass extinction of dinosaurs. All of this happened due to a 10-kilometer-wide asteroid striking the shallow sea. But did the dinosaurs perish due to the asteroid? Two ideas of the extinction of the dinosaurs are battling out amongst the scientists. Did dinosaurs suffer from interplanetary disaster or a more earthly adversity? Some scientists believe that they were vanished due to volcanic eruptions and the toxic gases that emitted from them. Scientists proved it from the Western Ghats of India, which were surprisingly formed at the same period, 66 million years ago. So was there any role of Indian geography in the extinction of dinosaurs? If so, then why today most scientists are convinced with the asteroid theory? Also, why did the small organisms survive and all the big ones vanish? Well, there are lots of questions, and to answer these, I bring you, my friends, this amazing video. What happened 60 seconds after the dinosaur extinction? The Deccan Traps Mount Range is also known as the Western Ghats. It is the mountain range of India. It covers the western coast of the Indian Peninsula. This mountain range was originally in discussion amongst scientists. Many of them believe that the cause of dinosaur extinction is not the asteroid, but is due to an immense volcanic eruption. They suggest that large and numerous successive volcanic eruptions created the Western Ghats. The Western Ghats are made of 2-kilometer thick lava and are spread over 160,000 square kilometers. Upon testing the rock sample of this mountain range, it was calculated that this mountain range came into existence about 66 million years ago. A recent study has shown that this mountain range is about 150 million years old, which makes this theory wrong. Well, this theory may seem very convincing, but most of the scientists today favor the Alvarez hypothesis, which postulates the total destruction of dinosaurs was caused by the impact of the asteroid. Scientists believe that after the impact of the asteroid, not all of the smaller species survived, only some of them lived. The species who lived included turtles and the early ancestors of crocodiles. All the pteropods weighing more than 25 kilograms did not manage to survive. So how could all other small beings come to extinction? And why did only species like turtles and crocodiles survive? Well, it seems obvious that these turtles and crocodiles went deep in water and must have survived. The impact induced such tremendous environmental changes that dealing with them was not easy even for these crocodiles and turtles, but thanks to their adaptable and efficient body structure, which helped them to survive the dreadful fate. All these facts point out that the real culprit for dinosaur extinction was the asteroid. So let's watch the site of the asteroid impact and the desperation of the creatures at that moment. In the Cretaceous period, 66 million years ago on a cheerful day on Earth, a 10-kilometer-wide asteroid entered the atmosphere. Its striking the atmosphere was so enormous that it created a supersonic sound wave that was loud enough to hurt the ear of organisms on the other side of the planet. Just after 5 seconds, it crashed in the shallow water of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. As big as Mount Everest, and 460 trillion tons of heavy asteroid traveling with the speed of 20 kilometers per second struck the Earth. The impact was so devastating that it formed a crater 150 kilometers wide and 20 kilometers deep. Today, this crater is known as Chicxulub crater. In comparison, This crater is big enough to fit 24 Burj Khalifas stacked on top of each other, so imagine the energy created from the collision. According to scientists, within a radius of 1,800 kilometers, everything faded. Not even the bones of a living organism was safe from vanishing. In fact, according to some researchers, the collision was so powerful that many pieces of the asteroid bounced back from the Earth. These big pieces were pulled by gravity and barraged to different places on the Earth. Fiery rocks showered on the Earth in scorching hail. These strikes started earthquakes of 11 magnitudes over the whole world, which caused lava eruptions from volcanoes all over the planet. Every living being bustled in the chaos. This brutal sight of nature was unbearable for every being on the planet. 30% of life was wiped out after 10 minutes of the impact. All the aquatic animals were stunned and were probably thinking they were safe. They were rejoicing too early because their bad days were yet to come. We will discuss their situation later, because the misery of terrestrial animals remained. The climax was yet to come. Asteroid impact launched big fireballs in the atmosphere, and volcanoes erupted. Forests were burning. At this point, almost 50% of life vanished. The volcanic outbreaks and forest fires raised the concentration of carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and other toxic gases in the air, which reduced the concentration of oxygen. Animals died due to insufficient oxygen in the atmosphere. Also, these toxic gases formed toxic rain. This was the point of aquatic life suffering. Acid rain brought toxicity to aquatic water. The aquatic animals were escaping into the deeper sea from the toxic water, but the situation did not favor them because the asteroid impact also raised tsunamis. Global warming was at its peak, and polar ice started to melt, which drastically raised the sea level and the Earth sank in the water. At this point, 65% of life on Earth was extinct. If you are thinking that all these events happened just after the impact, you were wrong. It took 4 to 6 months for the ice to melt. So volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, forest fires, acid rains, all these events were continuously happening through this interval of time. According to some researchers, during this sequence of events, around 15 trillion tons of ash and dust were mixed in the air, which covered the whole Earth. Afterward, the actual destruction of living beings began. This dust and ash, after covering the whole planet, blocked the sun, and the grief of all beings escalated multiple times. Due to this barrier, the Earth was restrained from the sunlight, and all those plants who were performing photosynthesis gradually vanished. These plants were an important contribution to the food chain. After their extinction, all of the food chain collapsed. The temperature on the Earth started to lower due to sun blocking. Gradually, the temperature reduced to such an extent that it brought the Ice Age. The blue planet turned into a big white snowball. Within a year, the Earth turned from being a blue ball into a red ball and a white snowball, and wiped out 75% of all species. During this chaos, everything went through a lot of harsh periods, but life seemed to persist in prevailing. The extinction also presented some evolutionary opportunities. Due to this, many beings adapted and found different ways to survive. Many groups went through inventive deviation to form new structures and species. In this battle of survival, plants were more significant than animals because they produce spores that can survive extremely harsh conditions. So, after several years, the dust and ashes settled down. According to some researchers, it took almost 2 years for the covering of dust and ash around the Earth to vanish, and thus allowing direct sunlight to enter the Earth's surface, which allowed the temperature of the Earth to rise to optimum level for the nourishing of tiny plants. The period of the Ice Age ended. This new environment enabled the spores from Earth to germinate. Tiny plants grew once again, and gradually, the greenery flourished on Earth. The oxygen levels in the atmosphere restored to its former state. To enjoy this peaceful time, small mammals and rodents start to appear, as they have survived in underground caves. Small mammals flourished after the extinction of the dinosaurs. These mammals survived in underground shelters and aquatic environments. This survival instinct compelled them to feed on the dead bodies of other animals. From these small mammals, life prevailed, and evolution started from them, and big animals started appearing. The most advanced species that appeared on Earth was 5 million years ago. That was the human species. Humans are gifted with a very high level of intelligence. Today, we humans have developed in almost every aspect of life. We possess very advanced technology. At the end of this video, to test your intelligence, I bring some questions. What would have happened if the asteroid struck a deep sea instead of hitting the shallow water? Would the result be the same? Also, Can humans prevent such catastrophes with the help of today's technology? Write your answers down in the comments box.